Monsters creep from their lairs. Kraken entwining ships. Sasquatch slaying campers. Giant ants wrecking tanks. And one news bureau has you covered. Turn up the radio, gentle listeners. It's time for breaking news, fresh from the teletype. Welcome to
Monster Bureau!
We have breaking news, fresh from the teletype. Chaos in Las Vegas after ant attack. Chaos engulfed the Las Vegas Strip today as a giant fire ant, standing taller than the city's famed casinos, unleashed havoc, leaving tourists and locals in a state of disbelief and fear. The colossal insect, first spotted near the Zuller Hotel round noon, began its destructive journey northward along the bustling corridor. Eyewitnesses described the scene as something out of a science fiction nightmare. The ant, with its formidable mandibles and gleaming exoskeleton, tore through neon signs, palm trees, and vehicles with ease. Onlookers scrambled for safety, dodging debris and overturned cars as the creature moved seemingly with a purpose. Here's eyewitness Maria Gonzalez from Phoenix.
The size of it was unbelievable. It tore through casino signs and ripped apart this resort's walls, and all these lunch buffet customers screamed, and some got to dew on them, and they burst like Bo Petit balls. It was horrible. And my car, the goo got on it, and it dissolved the metal. I was so lucky to get my Papillon Doxum mix out of the back seat just in time. Oh, my poor, terrified baby Lulu.
Emergency services responded with urgency as the fire department, police, and other first responders converged on the scene. Efforts to control the situation escalated quickly, with authorities implementing emergency evacuations of the most vulnerable areas along the Strip. Governor Spencer Cox held a press conference shortly after the Air Force drove the ant away. Cox gave the state's response and urging calm.
We are deploying all available resources to ensure the safety of all Nevadans and our visitors. I've mobilized the National Guard to hold down the area and stop more giant insects from attacking the city.
The ant's path of destruction included several major landmarks. The Bellagio fountain lay in ruins, and parts of the Phoenician's facade crumbled under the force of the creature's attacks. The economic impact, while still being assessed, promises to be severe, with the Strip's bustling nightlife and gaming industry brought to a sudden halt. Dr. Linda Feldman, a mega-entomologist with the University of Nevada at Yucca Mountain, suggested that the appearance of such a large specimen might be the result of a rare mutation caused by radioactive toxic waste.
This is clearly an extraordinary event with significant scientific implications. Please remain calm. Once the military has slaughtered the mutant insect, we can perform more research and gene sequencing. This is very exciting for entomologists.
As day turned to evening, the ant continued its relentless march, now heading toward the stratosphere. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department issued a citywide alert, advising all residents to remain indoors and away from the affected areas. Social media erupted with images and videos capturing the surreal and terrifying moments. The hashtag #VegasAntAttack trended worldwide, with many expressing shock and concern over the unprecedented event. Efforts to subdue the giant ant are ongoing, with specialists from across the country flying in to lend their expertise. The community holds its breath, hoping for a swift resolution to the chaos that has disrupted one of the world's most iconic destinations. As the sun set over a scarred Las Vegas skyline, the question on everyone's mind remained unanswered. Where did this monstrous creature come from? And more importantly, can it be stopped before it strikes again? Now, gentle listeners, I'll bring in Dr. Linda Feldman for more on this giant ant attack in Las Vegas. One moment while I connect us through our punch code. Dr. Feldman, thank you for joining us today. Can you explain why a giant ant would target a bustling area like the Las Vegas Strip?
Thank you for having me. It's important to clarify that it's unlikely the ant specifically targeted the area. Ants react primarily to their immediate environment. This behavior was probably triggered by environmental factors or disturbances that we don't yet understand. It's highly unusual and not natural by conventional standards.
What could possibly explain the ant's monstrous size? Is this natural?
The size suggests a significant genetic mutation or alteration of the genetic marker, M57, which controls growth in ants. It was likely triggered by exposure to radioactive toxic waste.
What kind of environmental impact could this giant ant have on the ecosystem?
The impact could be substantial. An ant of that size would require a massive amount of food, such as forests, livestock, or even humans, drastically affecting the food chain and local ecology.
Could this event predict a new trend of giant insect sightings?
There may be some cause for concern. A colleague of mine in New Mexico recently spotted giant Gila monsters feasting on cattle. It happened in an area close to your report on mutant killer bees. I'd say 3 giant insect or reptile attacks would be a trend. If we get a third, it's likely to happen in Arizona or Utah due to the number of radioactive waste sites.
Are there potential benefits to studying such a unique specimen?
Absolutely. Studying a giant ant can offer invaluable insights into genetics, the adaptability of species, and even broader ecological impacts. If we could learn which genome affects rapid growth, we could replace forests lost to wildfires or increase factory farm production. Massive cows make innumerable burgers, after all.
What steps can be taken to prevent similar future incidents?
We need rigorous monitoring of environmental pollutants and genetic changes in wildlife populations. Establishing strict regulations around toxic waste disposal and chemical emissions can also be crucial preventive measures.
Dr. Feldman, thank you for your insights and for shedding light on this remarkable event.
Thank you for spreading awareness about these important monster issues.
And this just in, we have a live field report from Agent X, a mad science informant, near the Yucca Mountain Radioactive Waste Containment Center. Agent X, are you there?
Good evening. This is Agent X, reporting live from the Yucca Mountains of Nevada. What I'm about to share might sound like something out of a Hollywood sci-fi blockbuster, but it's real, and it's happening now under the cover of this desolate landscape. I've stumbled upon a startling discovery. A lake, but not of water. Something far more sinister. It's glowing, radiating, an eerie light that doesn't bode well for anyone. I'm here on a routine surveillance mission for the U.S. Geological Survey, checking on some unusual seismic readings that were flagged last week. Our initial thoughts were underground testing or natural geological shifts. But what I found was something no one could have predicted. This isn't just geological, it's biological, and it's radioactive. As I approached the glowing body, the first thing that hit me was the smell, acrid and choking, like burning metal, and the lake itself. It's not water. It's a viscous, almost sludge-like substance, and it's pulsating with a sickly green light. Radiation levels here are off the charts. I've sent samples up the chain, but I haven't received any word back yet. But that's not the worst part. The lake, it's teeming with life, if you can call it that. Fire ants, but not as we know them. These are gigantic, easily the size of hippos, emerging from the lake with bodies shimmering with the radioactive glow. I counted at least a dozen so far, and there are likely more beneath the surface. Their size and aggression are alarming. Clearly, the radioactivity has mutated them into something dangerous, something predatory. I've been taking photos and recording as much as I can, My Geiger counter hasn't stopped ticking since I arrived, a constant reminder of the danger looming in the air. But I need to gather more evidence. I need to... Hold on. I think I've been spotted. This area is supposed to be restricted, but there are men approaching. And they don't look like any cleanup crew.
Sergeant!
These guys are heavily armed and...
Lock and load.
I've got to try to hide my silent link microphone. If you're hearing this, it means I've managed to broadcast out. This discovery, it could change everything we know about biological mutations and radioactive exposure. The public needs to be aware. The government needs to act, and... they're getting closer. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I need to protect this evidence. Remember Yucca Mountain. Look into... Hey! No! Stop this! You can't!
Agent X! Can you hear me? Agent X! Agent X! Please, respond! Oh, my stars and garters. And now for monster protection tips from Monster Bureau. Protecting yourself against a giant fire ant destroying your city involves general disaster preparedness steps, which can be applicable in many emergencies. And here's what you can do. First, stay informed. Always keep away to receive emergency alerts. Understanding the nature of the threat is crucial to respond effectively. Next, an emergency kit. Prepare an emergency kit that includes basic supplies such as water, non-perishable food, first aid materials, flashlights, batteries, and other essentials you might need for at least 72 hours. Next, an evacuation plan. Know your local evacuation routes and have a clear plan in place for where to go if you need to leave your home quickly. Make sure every family member understands this plan as well. Next, secure your home. For an oversized ant, ensuring physical barriers are intact could hypothetically help, such as reinforcing windows or secured entry points that prevent radioactive goo from oozing through. Communications plan is the next item. Have a way to communicate with your family or roommates during an emergency. Establish a meeting point in case you are separated and can't access mobile phones. The next tip: follow authorities' instructions. Pay attention to instructions from local or national authorities. They will provide the most accurate and timely information regarding any ongoing threats from giant fire ants. Next, community resources. Know what resources are available in your community. Local emergency services, community centers, and relief organizations might have specific plans or shelters that can help. Thanks for listening to Monster Bureau. If you like this podcast, please like, rate, review, subscribe, and share it with your friends. It really helps. We'll be back in 2 weeks with breaking news from West Virginia. Until then, take care and be on the lookout for monsters.